Okay, I'm back doing another live stream. I'm kind of checking on everything too to make sure it works. Got my laptop over there and make sure everything looks good. Okay. I got the headset on so that I can hear the guitar through my setup here. I don't want to put it out into the room anyway. But that's kind of tricky the way I'm all set up for recording back into the computer. But, well, I could do it. But anyway, headphones is the way to go since it's 4:18 a.m. and everyone else is asleep. Okay, so today I decided to play around with a little program. I've got this is my guitar that I've had for quite a few years. I'm not a guitar player. I just play with the guitar once in a while. I love the guitar. I've always loved the guitar since I was a kid, but I never got any good at it. Had one when I was a kid. I had a drum set first and then a guitar. And it wasn't a real drum set. It was like a smaller drum set for a little kid because I was a little kid when I got it. And I had a regular size guitar, but it did have a pretty small neck. This one has a pretty small neck. You can't really see it, can you? Which is good for me because I don't have real big hands. Let's see, there we go. It's, but I believe it is bigger than that other one. Of course, I gave that other one away about 20 years ago, I guess, to a girl that had really small hands that was really learning fast on the guitar. So, and it was electric. That's all I've ever had myself is electric guitars. But my Vamp, that is what I used for whenever those intros and extras of my videos. That's what I used to make those with this Vamp. And I'm using it, you know, I always say, you know, seen in my videos, always half the time I mention how I'm using the noise gate, compressor, and a tube amp emulator for vocal effects, so to get good vocals. So I thought, well, if I ever did want to try to, if I ever learned any more on the guitar and I wanted to try to put down a song, I need another set of, you know, another source of effects. So I already knew about a bunch of programs that I already have on my computer. I've just never really done anything with them. And so what I've done is, let's see how I'm going to show this the best way. Let's go to Cam 2. What I've done, excuse me, I've used the, I'm not using the effects send and return for my Vamp. I've got it daisy chained out of the main, the main output on the mains, goes to the Vamp, and then goes from the output on the Vamp to the computer. And that way, everything that goes through here gets compressed, you know, gets noise gate, gets tube amp emulation. Because if you send it out through the effects send and then back in the aux return, is what it's labeled, effects return. Usually they say effects send and effects return, and then you also have aux channels, input and outputs from bigger boards. But this one doesn't have that, so I don't know why they named it two different things. Makes it sound a little confusing. If you didn't already know all that stuff, you'd be like, what do you do with that, you know? But it says FX send, I think, and then aux return. But anyway, this is a Behringer 802. It's working just fine. I just got it a few months ago, new, and I've used, you know, mostly Mackie mixers over the years when I used to do sound for bands, but and I really like them, but you know, they cost quite a bit more, enough more to make a difference. And I've used a couple of Behringers too, and they're okay. And I did a lot of research when I was buying, looking to buy one. And I got, this was $69, and then you go up to like $79 for basically the same amount of channels on the Mackie, but it didn't have actually as many features, so if I remember right. But anyway, got this. This is the board I have. So I went with the FX send or effects send to send the signal out of the board, and then I sent it into the ASRock, the computer I've been working on. I've just got a new install of Fedora 26 on it, and the last couple, well, yesterday I made a a DNF install script off of. I ran a command to get a list of all of the apps on this computer, this Fedora 23 system I'm streaming from right now, and then I made an install script and I ran it on the ASRock. So basically, software-wise, it's pretty much a mirror of this one. So I thought, hey, I've got that on there. And oddly enough, I was getting noise. What got me started with this, I was getting noise out of my, whether I plugged into the back or the front of the computer, I was getting a bad buzz in my system, making a buzz on my speakers, and so I left it unplugged. And so I went to messing with the cable and testing it, and I couldn't really tell too much about it with my multimeter. So I thought, well, heck, the easiest way to test the cable is to plug it into. I got a mixer, so I just turned on some music in the computer, ran it through the mixer and to the headphones, and listened, and it was fine. There's nothing wrong with the cable. We wiggled it and did everything you could do to kind of figure that out. And I did figure out one thing. This button here. Let's see, it's two-track to control room, or tape to control room, and that's the volume. The control room volume knob controls your headphones and your control room output, left and right output, which is what I'm using right now to go to my headphones. And it actually is a little quite a bit quieter, noticeably quieter. You don't get as much telltale noise. So I heard somebody mention that on a video before I bought this when I was watching videos about them, and evidently the preamp for the headphones is crappy, and the one for the control room, it's okay. It's good. I think it's just as good as the main out. Some of these people, they were using that. Well, it's sort of what control room is meant for recording. He says control room because, well, I've never worked in a professional recording studio, so I don't know exactly. I did live sound, but anyway, my recording is going through the mains, and one thing for sure, if there's any differences in what you get, like what the signals do and how they're routed, you're getting them all through the mains, so you won't miss anything. I don't think you're going to miss anything if you're using control room, but I'm used to using the main output as my main output, so I'm going to tape or to the computer. We always said going to tape when we were recording. And the way I'm hearing this is there's two outputs on my Vamp. One, the main output that's going to my computer, and then the headphone output, I send it back into the tape input on the mixer. And then when I punch that button, you don't hear it on the headphones or the control room if you don't punch that button. But when you punch that button, then I hear it. But it doesn't affect the main mix. And if you punch this one that says two-track to mix, it will give you instant feedback, because it creates a feedback loop. That's what it does into the VM. So, excuse me. So don't do that. I did it with the headphones on one day. Sorry. Okay. Going around and around, but one thing I discovered is when this is punched in, the one that I have to use to hear the headphones, your pan doesn't. If you pan to the left, it's just like you turn the fader down. You get nothing. Pan to the right, then it stays the same. And I thought it was cable for a while there, and then finally, I don't even remember what I did. But finally figured out it's when I punch that button out, then. I don't remember how come I could punch the button out and still hear it, what I was doing, but I had it set up somehow where I could. And I was just using the headphones. If you're plugged into the headphones and you punch that button out, you will just hear what's in the mixer. If you punch the button in, you'll hear what's coming out of the VM. That's the way it would work in the headphones. Now, if I punch it out right now, I get nothing. It goes blank. That's fine. So anyway, that's okay. Because usually what I want to monitor is the final signal. That's especially when you're recording. So and it helps you to get everything set. So, because if you have too hot a signal going into the VAMP, it's an automatic compressor, and you will hear it. It'll make a little staticky sound in it. You'll hear it kind of clipping the signal if you have too hot of an input signal. So it really helps you to set things up. And as far as my headphones go, if you're going to mix with headphones, which is not one thing that gives you a lot of, strain. They call it stereo ear when you wear your ears out listening. But it does me very quickly. You really, if you to be able to mix, especially if you're mixing music, something that's really important about how it sounds, you want flat response headphones. And as far as if you have a studio, you don't want to just use regular speakers. You want flat response monitors. That's what real studio monitors are for recording. And what they do is they don't color the sound. They're not. They don't change the sound. They don't have heavy bass. They don't have extra highs, extra mids. It's just whatever signal it gets, that's what it tries to reproduce. Of course, there's differences in qualities and all that. But I bought these headphones back in the 90s from Guitar Center. And at that time, they were kind of like the mid-range. They were $50 back then. So I think nowadays, I looked them up a while back, and you're going to go from like 80 to, way up there. So definitely well worth it, though. They made a huge difference because before that, any time I was trying to use headphones, you could never get it right. When you record it and you think you got it just right, and then when you play it back, it won't sound it doesn't sound like what you thought it did when you were recording. And that's real important with bass. It's tricky with bass. So what you'll do is if you don't have enough bass in your headphones, you'll turn up the bass, or if your headphones are bassy, then you'll turn down the bass. And when you record something, especially music, go and listen to it on a bunch of different devices, because that's what's going to be done with it, and kind of see. That's how you can figure out how to do your mix. So anyway, that's the same thing for making YouTube videos, or everybody call what they call podcasts, which they call seems like some people when they're making on YouTube these days call YouTube videos podcasts. But podcasts were originally just audio, like a radio show type of thing. So anyway, I don't know why I'm going all into all the sidetrack, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to, let's see. Okay, one in desktop. Okay, now I'm going to get over here on my remote desktop here with my team viewer, and I'll change it so that you can see that a little better. Now, I'm going to look at my preview over here and make sure that worked like I expected over here on the laptop. That's good to have that going. It helps me a lot. And this application is called Rakarrack. It's right there at the top, Rakarrack, Rakarrack. It is a real-time guitar effects processor, and I've kind of went through a few of them. I went up to like number 30. I don't know how many's in there, but there's let me turn the. How do I do that on this laptop? Got so many things going on, it's got me confused. Oh, it is up. Okay. I can't hear with my headphone on. Well, I'm pretty sure it's working. Oh, it's muted now. So with my headphones on, can I hear myself? Yeah. Getting louder. I'm probably not talking loud enough because I can hear myself. But so I can see now. I'm looking at my preview on YouTube, and I can see that I'm getting what I intend to get. So that's good. So the way I have it set up with my board here, you can kind of see whenever I reach over with this view. Can turn on. This is called, and there's something really strange right off the bat. This is on effects number 3. Now 1 and 2 crashes the application. Number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so somewhere in there's a couple more that crashes it. So we'll probably run into those. What I'm going to do is just start going through these, and I can. At first, I was just going to do it. I was just started to play with it, and I thought, with the microphone. And I thought, well, heck, this is a guitar effects. I should get my guitar. I haven't had it out in forever. So then I thought, well, heck, I'll make a video. So it's been hours. I had to stop and eat lunch and stuff and everything else. That's fun, so what the heck. And if you've never tried out this or heard of this application, then first I just had it hooked up to my computer that I'm streaming from, and so when you plug in the input, it takes over. I leave the input, this cable coming from the VM in the back of that computer all the time. Well, it took over. When I plugged something into the front, it took over. That's what most computers do. There might be a way to read. Well, you're not going to be able to use 4 channels on. We only got a 2-channel sound card, so you're not going to be able to use 4 inputs without. Well, you could maybe use I thought, well, I have a USB sound card, and I thought, well, I could try that, but then use Pulse Audio to try and get it all routed. But it gets all complicated. And Jack, the audio application that can make you route a lot of different things, but it's pretty complicated. So I thought, heck, I'll just turn on another computer, So my ASRock is my effects unit, and my Lenovo i5 is my streamer, and then of course my mixer and my VAmp. And I think let's see. Now the VAmp does have. I've got a foot switch over here. So now I'm not running any the effects are on. You can see it, the signal over there, but I don't have them. I'll show that right quick. Okay, so on the voice, if I turn this up a bit, you're going to start hearing this cathedral swell effect, and it's a pretty heavy-duty echo. There you go. Hello. Hello. Okay, now, the guitar, I'm going to do that. Let's see. Got the mic in my way on top of me being no good. Okay, now let me give it a little effect. Turn it down a little bit. That's just that effect. It's, I don't know. I don't think it's, personally, I don't know that it's, to me it just doesn't seem like the greatest guitar effect, but it's kind of fun for vocals. If you don't give it too much, then it might actually sound good. Check 1, 2. Hey, down here. And it's pretty, it climbs and starts, it'll start a feedback loop pretty quick. But that's kind of fighting my, see, I've got my vocal effect that I'm using on the, is trying to stop the echo to make it sound good for talking, you know. So, I don't know, you could probably do it if you wanted to, but I'm going to use them now. There's a couple of effects right here without, I mean, there's hundreds, maybe 1,000 effects in this VM, but you can't use. There is a way to wire that thing, well, to set it up inside of itself, and then you could wire it in such a way that you could, like, I think you could put your guitar on one channel and your vocal on the other channel, but you wouldn't have what I got, you know, your gate, tube amp, and compressor. I never did see a way to do it. There might be a way, and I just didn't understand it all, but it's a complicated little device, but it's great. So now if I go to, now this is going to be, as a matter of fact, I'll just, instead of sitting here on this view, okay, get out of that. Now I'm going to switch my camera view to 1 and 2, because this is not going to be anything to do with that effects unit over there. It's turned down on the mixer. But with my foot switch, I can change to number. Now see, that's the one I set up on my VM in case I wanted to sing something. I thought that might be good. And I'm not going to try to sing because I'm so hoarse and I can't ever sing without music anyway. So that gave that a nice little sound just to the flat, straight guitar. Now, I haven't done this in forever, so there's another one, and that's not good for talking.
Okay, now this is. Yeah, okay, so.
Those effects, only the first two are good for vocals and the rest are for guitar. Okay, so now let's see how that compares to that. The amp's a pretty good effects unit. I like it. People, that play guitar are usually into, like, a lot of them are into tube amps and tube amps, and, well, some of them go so far as to want everything to be tube, even their effects unit. And they have a cool sound to them. But I think a good electronics one. At least that's the way it was back when I was more involved in it, and that would be more in the up to 2000 really. So, and in the early 2000s, I hung out with a guy that played guitar, a guy that played. We kind of did some music together, but it didn't end up. Well, I recorded one song, but I didn't put it on my album because it didn't turn out all that fantastic. So I put the song on there, but it was someone else playing it. So anyway. Oh yeah, I have, where am I? Okay, let's get back to, what do we want? We want one and desktop. And, well, first let's go back to desktop. While I'm thinking about it, I mentioned it on my last video. I'm just going to open up my browser here, and I'll show you my website. Since I'm talking about all this, I did, during all those years, starting in around 92, I believe it was, from 2005 or something like that, on and off over the years. I can sing. I used to sing and write songs and write poems and stuff, but I never did learn to play any instruments. But I had, had some friends over the years. This is my website, donsongs.com, and you can click on either one of the album covers and download the music, listen to it, or download it for free. Just right click and do save as. Those are their MP3s. Oops, well, that didn't come on into the recording. I thought it would. I heard it on my speaker. I don't know. Some things you play on the desktop, if you play something in VLC, I believe it'll get onto the live stream, but when you play something in the browser, I guess it doesn't. But there you go, anyway. I just thought I'd mention that while I was thinking about it. So, let's go to desktop and camera one. Yeah, that way you can see the guitar and the effects unit as I play around with it. Okay. Eyes are itching. Now, as you can see, was checking my, trying to discreetly check my stream while I was getting all this done. But anyway, yeah, oh, looks like it's working. So I want to pause it because definitely don't want it wearing out the computer over there. Okay, so I left everything on the defaults. It's got lots of features, this Rakarrack. And you got a tuner in here, but I turned it on and it didn't make any sense to me. I've got a little electronic tuner that I tuned my guitar with before I started all this. But see, like that's E, high E. But boy, I don't understand all that. Get my pick. I never know where to put this microphone to do this. And down here it's got a record area, and I thought maybe you could record what you were doing, but I turned it on, and I think what it's supposed to really just is up there. It says looper and all that. I think it's just records a loop. I don't think it'll record your whole session, and I didn't see it record anything. I never did, so I didn't want to quit fooling with that. But there's all these presets in here. Like I said, when you get on some of them, it'll crash it. But let's go to, this is number 3. I won't go back to 1 and 2 because they crash it. But, okay, that's a pretty loud one. It's so making noise. And see, with this setup, it's pretty fiddly, having to use the mixing board, so you know the VM step and with the switch is a lot better than foot switch. Got a lot of wah in it. I like that. It's pretty cool. Okay, so let's go to the next one. I wonder if you can use a keyboard. Yep, sure can. Hit the right keyboard there and it went to the next one. Oh. That's just, it says tight rock. Plain. I guess you could turn it up a little more, but I don't think that would make a lot of difference. Let's see. That's one thing about effects is you've got each one of them. I've noticed that in every effects unit, when you go to each different effect, you have to change their volume to get them to work right. Back down first. I figured it'd be too loud. Kind of cool. need to rearrange how I have it done for what I'm doing here with the guitar. I just left it pointing the way I have it for, you know, normal stuff. Ping pong effect. Somewhere at the pool. See what this, number 8 crashes it. Alright. But I put a shortcut right there so we can open it back up. No, I don't want to report it. Oh, I could have hit restart. I'll hit restart. Closed it and then I restarted it. Oh, now I can hear myself better. I didn't have the mic in a very good place, did I? Forget that. Just that'll go away after a while, that message. I opened it too many times. Open and close it too many times, didn't I? It says report, restart, report. Crazy. I'll try to restart again. Usually it just opened right back up, but I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have opened it, closed it, all that junk. I had it open, should have left it alone. That could cause me real trouble. Let's see. Get into the system app. Find it. I think I'll find it better just going to the. Just go here. I want to see if it's still running. Let's see. Maybe it hadn't completely shut down yet. I think Task Manager's the one. Yeah. Tracker is the only thing running. It's okay. Maybe it'll be all right now. And that's my audio settings. I think I'll close that now. I actually had to. In this XFCE desktop, it was muted and it wasn't working, and I had to get it unmuted. Don't tell me you're messed up. Oh no. It was fine until I click on report just to see what it does. Yeah. How many times has it crashed? 1, 2. I had it crash. I don't know how many times, and it didn't do this to me. Okay, let's go back and look at the system again. My guitar is heavy. This thing weighs 1,000 pounds. I didn't remember how heavy it was. Let's see. Task Manager. Now what's it called? It's called RAK. Okay, RAK. Rack. It's not running. Okay, nothing to do with that is running. There could be something else that's to do with it. What I wouldn't know what it would be. We'll try it again. It just crashes every time I try to restart it now. So that means I'll have to reboot the computer, I guess, to get it to work again. That's aggravating. Let's see. It's not, not hard to do or anything, but okay, so we'll reboot it. That just means I have to redo everything. I have to reconnect to the team viewer and all that once I get booted up. I'll have to go get on the computer, physically get on it. Let's see. I don't have camera aimed at the screen, and I'm not going to just start moving the camera. I'll just leave everything like it is. And then whenever I get it booted back up, let's see, get up here. Because I have, there we go, I have KVM switch where I've got a 4-port KVM switch, so I can switch between, I can see it even though I can't show it to you right now. I can see it, control it with my same keyboard and mouse that I use for the other computer. So, just have to hang with me here for a minute. Okay. Oh, banged into my mic. Hey, it's rock. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't take too long to reboot. That's pretty quick. I think that's faster. That reboots a lot faster than my Fedora 23 system. A whole lot faster. That's cool. Okay, connection established. Now I'll have to get TeamViewer back up and running. Didn't have a shortcut on the panel. I'm going to put one up there so that I won't have to keep doing the search for it. I'm using it all the time right now. I didn't want to do it because I thought I don't want that on my mom's desktop, but hers will be completely different. I just wanted to put the stuff that she used for her, and I just remembered. Well, that's fine. Okay, so the little password will be different. The login password, since I rebooted. If you close the app and open it back up with the machine, let's see, yeah, let me think. I don't know. It changes sometimes and other times it doesn't. Clicked on that little icon and it hasn't. There it is. It just takes a while to start that app. It does on every computer, not just this one. Okay. It keeps the same ID for the computer, but it changes the little password, which is good. Definitely. Yeah, let's go ahead and get up and go. Okay, now. Yeah, same one. Should be able to connect to it. Saved my password. How did it do that? That wasn't right. Oh, of course not. Don't save the password. It's always going to be wrong. I don't know why I did that. Okay. Now, we're back on there. Okay, desktop and me. Okay, now I'll get this all back to large screen again. I don't like listening to myself while I'm talking on here. It starts really wearing my ears out. Let's see if it'll work. Let's see. I've already forgot which one crashed it too. Oh man. I think it's broke. Oh. Well, no, it shouldn't be. See, what happens usually when it crashes is it goes to off. It may still be on that. It'll stay on that same effect, but when the on-off button for the effect, it goes to off. So maybe it's stuck on. Now, see, if I wouldn't have, it opened right back up and everything was fine, but for some reason I thought, no, I'm going to close it and then hit restart. Like I thought that would be better. Well, it wasn't. Now I'm stuck. Unless And here's another. I've got a simple mono amplifier that I think I've played with before. There's a Tux guitar play. I don't know what it does. Edit playback guitar tablatures. I don't know what it does. I think I've opened it before. That's something else. Packet generating tool. This is this app, and then that's the only ones for guitars that I have in here. I mean, if you type in guitar, there's other effects that I have in here. Apps. Still won't open. I suppose you could uninstall it and reinstall it. Don't know if I want to do that or let's just play with that other one for a minute first. And if it doesn't work good, then we'll do whatever. Okay. Let's see what happens on. Effects. Plugin for jack. Yeah, okay, so of course there's lots of audio stuff on here. Audio and video. What's that jamming? Oh, that's a mastering, audio mastering interface for jack. It's trying to see if there was other. The thing that's fun about that one is it's real time. I don't know what that other, you know, it processes the signal that you send into the computer. I wonder, I've got it turned on to be working on the mixer. I don't know if, I wonder if unplugging one of my cables, or I turned it off. And I could try unplugging it. Probably not it though. But non-mixer, I remember messing with that. There's a bunch of different portions of it, like 4 or 5 different ones, and things that it'll do. I think it's pretty complicated too. Okay, now let's just go back to guitar. So I don't know why this one here wants to crash on certain effects. I have no clue. And of course that's a real pain. It's the only bad thing about it there. It's really more of something to play with in the state that it's in than something you could really use. And I mean, really, if you're really going to be playing guitar, I'd mix sound for bands for long, you know, strictly for, you know, like bands almost for about 12 years. And everything has to work and work easily, you know. Usually they use stomp pedals. Even this V-amp would be a little fiddly for a live show. With the foot pedal, you could figure it out. You could set all your, you know, like the ones for one song on one, and then there's like, I don't know how many, at least 25 groups in there, and then there's A, B, C, D, E on each group. So, you know, that could work. You'd have to change what the defaults are. And that, well, actually, I did that. That number one has, you know, what I wanted on it. It's not the default. Okay, so this starts out saying jack is not running. Jack is a lot of these audio and video apps use jack to make it work right. Okay, activate jack, ignore jack, start GX head. That's part of this application. Okay, let's say start jack, because I know it wouldn't work if you ignored jack. Okay. Yeah, it always says that with jack, cannot lock memory. It still work, it just won't have enough. Okay, this is this thing. Oh, and there's jack right there. Now I may have to do some routing with jack to get it to work. We'll see. Oh, this one, I think I've played with it before. Let's just leave it down here. I think if I have to, I may have to, let's just try it and see what happens first. Okay, pre-gain. Actually, I find these things with round knobs very hard to use on a computer. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it's got anything Guess you have to turn it on or something. Let's see. There's a live. It says live. Let's see. Bring it up here a little bit. Live. Click to toggle muting. Oh, okay. Yellow bypassed, red muted. So it's green, so I guess it should be working. Bypass jack, insert ports. Okay. Well, it's got something on there right now, so it's just plain. It doesn't have anything going. Oh, how strange. How are you supposed to use that? Hit live. How am I going to get out of that? There we go. I guess it makes it big so you could see it, but it didn't fit my screen right. Okay. I think what I probably need to do, and nothing's patched in here. Let's see. Hit connect to. I can't ever remember. Let's see. Okay. Something is connected. A lot of times this do it automatically for you when you start, when one of these apps starts jack. Okay, no, GX head amp is connected, but that may still not be enough to make it work. Output sockets, but I may not have any effects turned on. Let's see. Presets. Next preset. Let's just go to the next one and see. Okay. Tube. Here's tube. Oh, a whole bunch of them. Yeah, that other one was definitely easier to get going until it crashed and quit working. Okay. You see, all the knobs look like, you know, they're set to where it should be working. I can't remember. Let's see. Output socket. There we go. This is Guitarix, GF head. Okay. Well, there's GF head amp and GF head effects. Okay, and then say okay. Okay. Nothing. Okay. So I don't want to make a video showing how much I can't remember. I've done this. I've done it within the last couple of months, and then I forget it. And every application seems to be different as to what you got to do to make it work. And I could try. Okay, let's say we're going to add an input, and to me, actually, I don't know. I would think really you wouldn't want to. I was thinking what I would do is try adding another one. See, now it won't let you. Oh, okay. I guess you can't have both of them. Cancel. I just know what I meant to do. Cancel. What? Why is it trying to? It won't let me do it. There, close without saving. Which one was it? I was head app. I don't know. There's one in there. I'm gonna do that just for the grins of it. Now, if you check around, I'll be hurting my ears. I'll get feedback. Oh, it did. But it seems like it added some stuff down here, didn't it? Okay, but. Okay, so I don't want to play with that no more. I don't like it. Okay, I want to stop jack. Because the other one, I don't think it uses jack. Okay, yeah, stop it. If you just close this, it will run. Jack will still be running, and it takes over all your audio stuff. So that you don't want to do that. Close without saving. Okay, now let's try this one more time. That's disappointing. I went through all the way up to 30 something when I first had it on my other machine. So let's see. Well, turning it down didn't do anything. Let me take the guitar off. Okay, now I don't need the headset if I'm not listening to the guitar. So, and that mic's good enough right there. I'll leave it like that. Okay, I'm going to turn down the guitar to make sure it's not just making noise on the mixer. What I'm thinking here is I'm going to open up where's that system app? Oh, just remember what I wanted to do. I thought, well, what if I just unplugged? First, let's look at this. Oh, that's connection. I want audio. Properties. And that's weird. In XFCE, you got to hit that button. Usually, in the other ones, you just open it up. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, so we still have. Now, what had happened? It was all the way down to the bottom, and it wouldn't let you bring it up. And I clicked mute. Tried to click mute, unmute a bunch of times, and it never would. I never did click on that, and finally, once time I clicked on it, and it worked. But you do, and here in this XFCE, it's different than Mate. So that was fine on the default, but for some reason that was check. Oh, there's no sound going through that. Let's see. There's really not a real signal going through the. I guess you didn't hear that, but well, you could see. Output devices, recording, playback, recording. And it always says no applications, even when there's one running. Or it did. Well, actually, I didn't look again. Now that I think about it, once I got it working, so maybe it would have showed up. But I set that to what sounded good. I used the headphones to set that. So, I wanted to see if that had been changed. So I'm going to unplug the cable and see if that'll let it work. Let the application stop crashing. We'll see. Doubt it. I think there's something went broke in there. Went poop in there. Even rebooting didn't fix it. That usually, you know, that'll straighten something like that out. Let me plug them back in now. Okay, there's another one. Get my headphones to make sure. Everything seems okay. Yeah, okay. There's another application. My preview is not. I guess you didn't used to have to hit reload to see what's going on. Now you could pause and start. I thought. Anyway, you got to hit reload to change it to what's going on now. But then when you reload it, it mutes it. So then you got to unmute it and all that. So it's pretty fiddly trying to monitor your live stream. Okay. Now, I just want to make sure I was still working. When things start going wrong, it makes you worry. Okay. So what I was going to do, I'm going to, I wanted to get the System Monitor app. Oh, yeah, okay. I need to put that up there so I can open it quick, but what I wanted to do was so nothing to do with rack is still running, and of course I rebooted, so that's not my problem, but I wanted to have that open so I could look and see if anything was acting up. Now, what do I want? Okay, this is Fedora. Okay, so I want Yum extender or Yumx DMNF. I'm gonna see about reinstalling it. If that don't work, then I guess that was the end of all that. I guess I fiddled around with it for almost an hour now anyway. But I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, there's just, you know, if I could play guitar and go run through those effects. I've seen some really good videos where people that are good guitar players will run through all the effects on the Vamp. That was interesting, but somebody who can only just fiddle around like me, it's not interesting anyway. So, I mean, it might be informative. That's why I thought I'd do the video. But I guess the first thing you'll see is that this app can be a real pain in the butt. When it works, it's great. When it crashes, it's a pain in the butt. So, guitar. Let's see. Where is it? There. Guitar X? I already forgot what. No, it wasn't Guitar X. That was the other one that was. It wasn't evident how to make it work to me. I'm sure if you used a lot of audio plugins, you'd know just what to do with that. But Rakarrack, that's it. Now let's see. I don't think there's an option. Oh yeah, there is. Right click. Now if you click on the X, it'll just uninstall it. But if you right click down here on the name, reinstall package. There we go. I knew you could do it in domain. Like when you click, I don't know, there's a drop down menu or something. Replacing Rakarrack. Let's see if that fixes it. Gonna have to put in our root password. That's, you know, doesn't take too long. It takes longer to get the apps opened up and find it than it does to reinstall it. Let's see if that'll fix it. I thought of something else just now that I'm already doing this. There's an app for cleaning up cache in your applications and everything that I have on here. Can't think of the name of it. That might have fixed a problem like that, where some of the, maybe. Bleach bit. That's it right there. Bleach bit. So, but since I'm already reinstalling, because reinstalling, I don't know 100% that it'll get rid of all the, like if there's like if you had settings and all that. I didn't have any settings, but I would think maybe on a reinstall it would try to keep your settings, and sometimes that's where your problem is. Your settings have got it broke. Your app broke. We'll see. But I didn't change any settings. All I did was open it up and use the defaults. So it's a cool app and it's easy to use. And I love that it's a full screen app, so you can see everything on it. And that it's easy to use on a computer. It's not like that other one with the little round knobs. I've discovered on some of them anyway, you can hold your mouse over the knob and then roll your mouse wheel, and it will turn that knob. But if you try to grab that knob and roll it, it'll drive you crazy. Okay, that should be done now. Let's try it. I already rebooted once and it didn't help, so might not have waited long enough to try it. Man, that makes me mad. I don't know why there's two report buttons, and you have to. Well, I have a. Oh, that crashed too. Jack audio. Well, let's go see if there's something to do with Jack running. Nope, nothing running. Nothing to do with Rakarrack running. Okay, so that's why I wanted that open. Actually, Jack crashed more recently than Rakarrack, it looks like. You could say report it. I wonder, 2 hours ago. First detected. Yeah, but what about right now? Look at the details. See when. Killed by Sigabert. If you open up Jack and it's still running, and then you open up another audio app that don't use Jack, usually it just stops the other app from working. Sometimes it might make something crash. So now let's see what it says about Rakarrack. Could not continue. 32 minutes ago. 2 hours ago. It's not showing the most recent crash. Sigisevji made it. Of course, I don't understand all those things. I'm not a programmer. I don't know enough about all this to know what a lot of that means. So sometimes you can see something that'll give you a clue, though. But if you go and say report, then it usually takes a long time. And I have a bug reporting account. Well, they might have changed how they do that. I have one with the Fedora bug reporting, but you got to put the password in there and save it to get it to automatically do it and everything. Well, it used to would do it automatically, but they changed at some point to where you've got to do that, manually do it. But that means, they might answer you within a few days to a couple of weeks to a month, and then and they might help you figure it out. But they might just say, they might not. You never know. So anyway, I keep wanting it to work, but it's not working. All right, so take that little shortcut off of there. Don't need that anymore. Let's go to, I want that to go away. It's staying up too long. Okay. Let's go through the, instead of typing in audio, let's go through the audio apps. What would be the, for some reason, the way my eyes seem to be working today, I think I'll try this. Multimedia, I guess. Yeah. Ripper, okay. There it is. I think that's the only one that's just a straight up live, real-time guitar effects processor. There's another one I had that's just an audio processor. I kind of remember Super Looper, if you're into making loops and stuff. There's several things that can do that, and a bunch of MIDI stuff. GuitarX is under the MIDI stuff, so I guess you better keep looking, even though it's in the MIDI. I don't think that GuitarX is, I mean, well, I guess it did, yeah, it did have a MIDI function, I guess. But of course, you could use MIDI to control these apps, like if you had a MIDI switch or a keyboard, foot switch or a keyboard that does MIDI, you could control all this stuff. You get it all set up to where you can control it that way. So you could use, like, say, a laptop. I guess you could use a I wouldn't try a tablet, because then you're going to have to mess with Android and all that, or whatever you're, you know, Mac OS, the Mac iPad OS, you know, and all that. Rose Garden, I think that's a general audio app. MuseScore. I can't remember what Jammin' is. Went through all that. Mixers. They call it a mixer too. It's in the mixer category. Wonder if there's a pulse audio volume control. Let's see if it's, oh, that's what we're using. That's what it uses by default. But see, that's all good there. Shows headphones to be plugged in. I don't think that, I unplugged them and that didn't seem to have anything to do with it. So, unless maybe unplugging them, rebooting the computer, and then plugging them in could help. Let's go back into audio again. Let's see, or multimedia. Output, tools. HD Jack Retask. There's so many Jack apps. I mean, if you really learned all that, you can do unlimited stuff, man. You can do professional audio recording and mixing with all these apps. But it's got some learning curve to it. I learned with, you know, analog gear, and I don't know. People used to think it was really overwhelming, but what I did was I would go volunteer and help out at concerts and hang out with the sound guy, I met one guy named Barry Zeller. He was a drummer in a Christian metal band back in the early '90s, and he also had his own PA, and he would mix for shows, and I'd help him all the time, and he taught me a whole lot. I thought I knew how to mix until I met him, and then a few years later, I met another guy who was like a professional, did it for a job, and I think he had been to like one of those audio schools, and he taught me about harmonics, and that really changed everything. I think Barry knew that. He just didn't explain it to me. He kind of tried to, I think, from what I remember, and I didn't quite get what he was saying. of course, we were running. You know, it's in the middle of a show, and then once the show's over, you're tired. You want to put it away and go home. So, you know, he would teach me what he could during the shows. But I was mixing for some shows by myself, and a guy came along with a band that was their sound guy. And well, actually, we went to Denton. We were in Arlington. Well, Arlington and Bedford. We were in Bedford at that time, in Texas. And we went and we put on a big show in Arlington, and they were mixing it. I was just helping out. And then the guy that did the booking, he was talking to him, and he said, "Hey," somehow he talked him into. We drove 45 miles, like a 45-minute drive, back over to where we did our shows every weekend, and he spent a couple of hours teaching me how to EQ monitors to where you could stick a microphone within inches of the monitor and it would not feedback, and it sounded good too. And in the PA too, you could put the microphone way up close to the PA with it up really loud and not feedback. And it was all in the EQ and learning about harmonics. And I won't go into that. I've talked about that before. You really need to be able to show it. You can't talk about it. Super Looper. So I don't see another single thing that sounds like a guitar effects. But I guess I'll try one more thing. I should have done it earlier. Unplug the, just in case the signal going to it has got something to do with it. I think it may be somehow stuck on, and so when you open it back up, it goes right back to that same effect. I know that it always go back to the same effect you were on last time. I remember that. But it may be stuck on, and the on position. And so every time every time it opens back up, it just crashes again. So let me get it back over there. Darn it. Get my arm hung on my microphone. I'm sure that sounds good. I used to have that little wind guard. It helps. It helps with your breath noises even when you're not outside, and helps when you bump into it. Okay, so that computer is starting to run. I can always hear the fan when it gets to working too hard. So I'm gonna, if I close the web browser and let it clear the cache and the memory, and then open it back up, it'll probably be all right. But it'll, if you let it go too long, when you hear that fan running, if you let it go a long time like that, sometimes it'll overheat and shut out. So I'm rebooting the AS Rock, the one with the guitar effects on it, and there it is. And then I'll get the TeamViewer back up, and we'll try opening it again. I had thought about trying I may have that same app on the laptop. It's a Debane system. It might, not crash in Debane. But it also, I'd have to reboot it just to get, probably, it's slowed down since I closed the browser, but it's not happy yet. But anyway, but that thing kind of I've used it quite a bit for making videos and stuff, and with like its own built-in webcam and stuff before I got these cameras, and it tends to be a little noisy. And I used to use it every day. I would use it to play videos from the web on my TV. But my TV's an old CRT TV, but it has an S video output, and it would go to the VCR and then from there to the TV. I don't see as well as I used to, and everything just looks so small I can't really see it good anymore. So, oh, I've got to write down that password, that new password. Okay. So, anyway, yeah, I definitely couldn't. I couldn't use it for that this audio app, and monitor my stream at the same time. Okay. What are you doing? My mouse is not working. Sometimes when I switch my KVM switch, it doesn't take. I have to try it again. I'll put it on my server. See that the mouse works. Now, yeah, there it's back now. Okay, so I want one in desktop over here. Now, I don't know why it's keeping a password in there, but that ain't right. There. Okay. I did not tell it to do. It hasn't been doing that. It just started today, and I didn't tell it to do that. I didn't click on anything to say save password. So I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, me and the desktop. Okay, I don't know why it does that. It goes back to small view. I guess I need a cough drop. All of a sudden, it's like felt like I got dust in my throat or something, and I guess that's possible. But my throat's starting to get raw again, sore, raspy again. Can't get it open. Okay, let's see. Well, before I plug those back in, no, I'll plug them in first. No, let's just try opening the app. No point plugging them in if it won't work. Nope. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and uninstall it while I'm thinking of it. And leave it uninstalled. Maybe after a couple of reboots, and I might try it again, but there's no point in being on there and being broke. Oh. No, I'll try, I forgot. Bleach bit. Let's see, hide irrelevant cleaners. First time it's been opened up. Overwrite files to hide contents. Start Bleach bit with computer. Exit after cleaning. Confirm before delete. Use IEC size 1 kilobyte instead of I don't know. Do you? Drives, temp, home down cache. I'll just leave that on defaults. Only want one language, English. Yep, that's what it's on. Whitelists. Okay, leave that. Now, Chromium. Deep skin's good. It says it's slow, and it it says to watch temporary files. It says it's slow. Sometimes I usually don't delete the backup files, and then the others. I don't remember what DS store is. What is DS store? I don't think it's okay to delete those. Chromium. All I really like to do is vacuum. Don't want to get rid of passwords or search engines. Form history. DOM storage, that gets kind of large. And cookies is good to get rid of. Cache. Sometimes it's easier to click on the main deal and then take out the ones you don't want. Yeah, I don't want passwords being deleted. Session restore. Site preferences, URL history, I like to keep that. Download history, I like to keep that. Crash reports, I like to keep those. Okay, there we go. So either one way or the other, you need to go through here and pay attention to what you're doing to it. KDE. Now let's see, some apps are written for KDE and some are written for Genome or whatever. That app, I don't know, it may just be an independent, it's not written for a particular desktop. But so system, broken desktop files, cache. I don't think I need to free disk space right now. I think that's pretty slow. Memory can cause you trouble sometimes and break what you're doing right now. You don't want to empty trash unless you're sure you don't want it back, I think I will empty it right now. Thumbnails. I'll leave that alone. Thunderbird. I haven't even used Thunderbird yet. Media pair. The only thing it does is most recently used. X11 debug logs. I wouldn't ever get rid of those really. Yum Clean All and Young Vacuum. Now, if you have trouble with Yum, that's funny because we're not using Yum anymore. We're using DNF, but it should just automatically, that command, it's running commands. This application does. So most applications run commands. A GUI interface that runs commands for you. But anyway, Clean All I wouldn't do unless you have something wrong with you can't do, your updates are broken, especially. Number one thing, like if your updates are broken and they won't update, you can do Yum Clean All. You can type that. You can type Yum Clean All in the command line and do it too. This will do it for you though. Vacuum would be fine, but I'm not going to do anything to the package manager. It's all fine right now. Bash history, that would be like your terminal history and all that. Kind of look through here again. Cache cookies. Can't remember what DS storage is. It might have to do with what I want cleaned up. What's breaking this, but it could be something else. Doesn't explain it up there. Where'd it go? It just says delete the files. I don't know. I can't remember at all what it is, so I'm not going to delete it. And I remember, HTML5 cookies, that's what DOM storage is. See, some of them will tell you. So I want that deleted. Cookies. Now, you don't always want to delete all your cookies because sometimes, they store your login information and stuff, and it'd be a hassle, but I don't know what custom would be. If you click on it, it doesn't do anything, so I don't know. I have done. If your system's getting low on space, you can do that free disk space. Whoops. But it says it's very slow, and it is kind of slow. So I'm not going to do it. Memory, I think it'll tell you it's experimental and may cause system problems, so I don't do that. Memory. I'll go back there again to make sure I didn't click on something that could cause me trouble. Thumbnails cache, you could do that, but you know, on a new system I wouldn't do that. Maybe if you've had thousands upon thousands of thumbnails opened up, maybe it'll save you a little space. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Clean. Do you want to permanently delete the files? I think this is your only chance to say yes or no. I think it just does it. You can do this as regular user, or you can open up a terminal and get root privileges and open BleachBit as root and do it that way, and it'll clean some stuff in the root directories. Just be careful when you're in there, because you could possibly break your system altogether. I think it's finished. Yeah, see, it only recovered 477 megabytes, but that's not what I was actually interested in recovering anything. I was interested in maybe making this app work again. We'll see. Nope, didn't do any good. Okay, so I'm going to delete the app. Sometimes you can delete, reinstalling doesn't fix them, but you can delete them, and then after a reboot, I said a reboot or two, but just one reboot really, somehow things get cleaned up and it works again. But since it crashes all the time anyway, I guess it doesn't really matter. Guess if I could remember the name of it. There it is. I see it. Rakarrack. Okay. So let's get rid of it. Well, it is a fun app. It's more of a fun app because if you're a real guitar player, I've never met one that wanted to fiddle around with a computer, laptop, or whatever to play guitar with, At least not back then. I don't know. It's been a lot of years now since I was around a lot, musicians and stuff a lot. So really since around 2000. The last show I mixed for, I think, was 2000 or 01 or maybe 02. Removing Rakarrack. Good. It doesn't have any dependencies. It's going to break anything else. That's good. So that's a disappointment. You could go to their website and look for bugs, and you might find a way to fix it, but I was just playing with it anyway because I have Vamp guitar effects. If there was anything that I could actually get more use out of, and if I'd have went on through it, just like here on the Vamp, there are effects that can be used for vocals. I didn't see any the first time I was playing with it on my other machine here, but and I don't know, I might be able to open it up on this machine. I don't think it'll work. I think it only works, since it's made to be real time, I think it only works when you have an audio signal, like say, like the way I have mine wired, it's basically as if you had the guitar plugged into the input on the computer, and then the output going back. But the way with my mixer and the effects send and return, it makes it cool. You can put the effects on any channel on the board, But I think I'm jumping from one thing to the other. Let me open up my browser on the laptop, make sure everything's still working. So I'm not so sure that it will work. I think I will open it up on my regular machine here and see. I think I'll go ahead and shut down the Shut down the AS Rock. I'm not going to work on anything else. Oh, it's almost 6 in the morning. Dang. Okay, well, I got up a lot later last night. I've been sleeping today and staying up all night lately. And once I get my schedule off, it's hard to get it straightened up. Shut it down. Okay, and I probably won't need. I'll just leave it for now. Yeah, so if I open up, go to desktop now. Now, if I open up, was I not showing? I guess I was. Yeah, for a minute there, I thought I was on both cameras, and I thought, oh no. So I'm gonna get on the desktop and open up Rakarrack. Oh, I never did check my stream. Make sure it looks like it's working. And see that everything. Yep, here it goes. Okay. There we go. RAK. Hello, check. Hello, check. I don't, from what I see, I've lost my audio. And I don't know why. There we go. Okay, now it's back. Okay, yeah, I did lose it. So the application killed my audio for my recording. I guess it took it over or something. Well, I don't understand because I was hearing it through the mixer. Yep. That was the problem. So, yeah, that's the one thing about when you're doing a live stream. If you kill your audio on your live stream, you may not know it when you're, even though you're monitoring on your mixer, because I'm monitoring it before it goes into the computer, not after it comes out. Because that's the only way you really can do it with OBS Studio. OBS Studio is set up to not, or it is not set up to monitor your audio. And I guess the reason, well, I'm sure there's several reasons, but one of them would be, you know, getting feedback. That's the biggest reason. And then the other thing would be, can't think right now. Anyway, you don't want to get feedback. So, and it would be really hard to keep it from happening. I mean, it's set up to work with for people that, you know, anybody. You don't have to know about audio and video too much to use it. So now I've got my hello check. There we go. So you don't have to know a lot about audio and video to use OBS Studio. I turned it up now. See, but I'm monitoring, but I'm not monitoring. I'm not monitoring. As it comes out of the computer, you know, if I could do that, then I could monitor. The only way I can monitor what's coming out of the computer is to monitor the live stream, but that's on a delay, especially for me because I purposely have it. Mine does it holds it for 20 or 30 seconds. I think it's 30 seconds before it sends it out to YouTube. That's the way I set up OBS Studio, because I wanted to, I didn't want to have caching problems on my stream and see it. That way, if the computer gets a little behind or anything, or my network or anything, then it can, it won't be, it should help that. That's my theory. And it's a setting in there that you can do that. So that's the reasoning behind it, I believe. So, forgetting what I was going to do. So anyway, so that app, so I figured out that I can't just turn that app on and use it. Now I could hear it when I first, you know, so I thought it was working. But what it did is when I opened up that app, evidently and I couldn't find out I'm wrong when I listened back to the recording, but evidently what it did was take over the output, and so I wasn't getting any audio out, the audio output, so I wasn't getting any audio out to my live stream. So even though I could hear it, let's see, maybe I'm confused because I'm monitoring what comes out of the VM. Well, so that means it was, and I was hearing it. Or was I only hearing it through the speaker? Maybe I was only hearing it through the speaker. Which, let's see. I'm confused now. I guess I'll find out when I listen back to the recording. But I guess I'm tireder than I thought it was. Oh, anyway, it doesn't. Definitely the ideal way, if you have a mixer like this, the ideal way to do it is to use the cable, use the aux in and the aux return on your mixer, and then you can turn it up and down on whatever channel you want. That's pretty cool. That's what I liked about the app. Of course, it's no good if it crashes and then won't run anymore. That's useless. But on this system, it crashed lots of times and didn't ever just completely quit. But this is a Fedora 23, and that was a Fedora 26. So it may be an older app and it hasn't been updated or something. I don't know. But if I open it up again, I believe it will just kill my output to my stream. So I don't want to do that. So all I can do is try. chords. I used to know chords years ago, but I don't know any chords. Okay, so my fingers never could do it. I couldn't get them to hit the right strings at the right time. So, get this on. So, that was a lot of fun. I thought it was going to be more fun. I didn't think it was going to be any aggravation. I thought, yeah, well, it crashed, but that's okay. It'll open right back up. But it didn't do that in the other machine. So, bit of a disappointing surprise there. It's not, I don't know. I think it could be a pretty cool app if it wouldn't do that. I don't think I have it in my, I'm looking at my, there we go. I was checking my stream again. I'm not gonna, I could open up TeamViewer, but let's just see. I want to see if it's in the laptop. What's it called? Can always remember guitar. Oh, it's the wrong keyboard. Get the wireless keyboard. That's what I've got it. Already forgot. Oh yeah, Rack, R-A-K. That's what it's called. Nothing to do with guitar seems to be in there. No, it's not in there. I bet I could install it, but yeah, I don't think I've installed anything like that. I have Jack on there, and there's something I used on there. Oh, I used Ardor, the digital audio workstation. But I'm not going to go and installing it. I don't have anything that comes up under guitar. The only thing, right? If you type in R-A-C-K Rack, you get Ardor 3 and Ardor Digital. Oh, I have two versions of Ardor on there. And I saw both of them. I thought, well, let's see if one of them works better than the other one. I used it on there. It worked pretty good. Yeah, I used it quite a bit. A couple months, while back recently, I recorded. Well, what I did was I plugged in I have a little mini cassette recorder, and I plugged it in. I've recorded stuff on it over the years, and of course the tapes get full. I can see my hair in the preview, and all that thin part is parting. So anyway, I recorded all the analog tapes onto the computer. And backed them up, then I went put them on my USB backup drive. So worked pretty good for that, and I was worried that it would not be able to handle it because it's just a dual core, but it handled it just great. And that way I was able to let it run all day for a couple of days doing that without stopping me from being able to work. If you try to do that, well, this machine won't even do it because it runs out of space. There's not enough space on the hard drive left to run that much temp files, So didn't work out on here. I tried it before recently on here. I need to reformat this. And I used to have the reason I ran out of space is because I had the 250 gigabyte hard drive divided in half with Windows 7 and Fedora 23, but I need to just it got infected too when all the other Windows 7 got infected, and I ran some virus cleaners on it, and it cleaned it supposedly, but it broke the operating system too. And I don't care. I don't want to fix it. I don't even want to reformat that. I'd put it back on there. I want the space, so I'm just going to upgrade to maybe Fedora 27. It's out now. But so anyway, I guess if nothing else, I got to kind of try. That's the first time I've actually done that on this mixer. is using the effects send and return. And like I've said before, I don't do that with the Behringer. I could, but I don't, because I don't want the wet, I don't want the dry signal to always be there, because that would defeat the effect of having the compressor to stop, like if I get too close to the mic, and stop the distortion and everything. The compressor does a good job of keeping, from getting distorted audio in my recordings and stuff. So, and that's because it gets everything. It's daisy chained in my main signal coming out from the VAmp. Well, coming out from the mixer to the VAmp to the computer. So, but I do miss, because I used to use effects a lot when I was mixing for bands, and I miss being able to do that. Just turn the effects up and down. Of course, the one thing is, if you got one effects unit, basically that's what I did. I used the computer as an effects unit. So you pick your effect, and then that's the effect you have on available to all channels. So a guitar effect's no good for vocals, a pretty big echo kind of makes a guitar sound okay. It kind of makes it sound neat, gives it a little more presence. But the really good guitar effects don't sound good on vocals. So. And that's why I can't, the way I have it wired up, my guitar effects are only good on my VAmp if I want to just be playing guitar. And I can. I can just stop talking. I could even turn my mic down, and just be playing guitar. But since I don't really know how to play, I don't really do that. But yeah, I can switch. And there's more and more and more on there. Let's see. Heck, I've already forgot how you get to them. Oh, here, this button right here. It's kind of funny, that foot switch only goes through A, B, C, D, E. That's all it'll do. It'll go, and it doesn't round robin. It goes A, B, C, D, E, and then you have, there's two switches, left and right switch, and you go, they say up and down on them. And so you go up till you get to E, and then you go down till you get to A. And I guess that keeps you from being confused, but if you want to go to the next band of effects, that'll change well, it won't until I hit one of these. That would change to that bunch of effects there. And there's like at least 25 in there, if not more. But I don't know what that sounds like, but it's definitely not for vocals. So, and that's the echo that I still haven't really tried singing on, but that's what I set it up for. And that's the one I use for my talking. So, I should listen now, make sure I've got what I think I've got. So, yes, okay. Now I'm curious. Okay, I went and did that, and I don't know what I did. Hello? 1, 2, check. It's not much different, is it? Check 3, 4. See, that's different. It's different. Hello, check. Hello. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check. Hello, check. So, actually it's pretty... If you get the hang of it, it's really not too hard to use that. So you could set that up. If it's laying down on the table, if you have it like say if I put it right up in here about where my cup is, I could reach up there and do that, or I could have it standing up and do it. I just not thought of that. I could lean it up against that TRS-80 there, and I could actually use it while I was playing guitar. Back there, it's too hard to get to, with the guitar. It's okay with the mic, but I don't want to change it while I'm doing the mic talking, But anyway, it's definitely the better way to do it. But I thought for years, ever since I saw my first, the first live effects app, back when I was running Windows XP years ago, when it was still brand new. I thought, oh, wouldn't it be so cool to be able to wire? I didn't even have a mixer, I didn't have a mix. This is the first mixer of my own I've ever had in my life. I always use other people's mixers, but I thought, well, if I had a mixer, I could do this and that, set it up in effects with the effects, send and return and all that. So that's the first time I've got to do that with a computer and a mixer. And definitely need an app that don't crash and quit working, but would work great. As many old computers as I have, it'd be silly because they'd make so much heat and everything, and you end up making noise too. That ASRock's not too loud, but some of the other ones are too loud to be doing with. It would ruin your audio. It'd pick up in your mic, you know. But you could actually put one, well, not on this board, but the bigger boards that I used to mix with, they had an effects send and return for every channel, every single channel. 16 channels, 16 effects send and returns. So if you could afford to buy that many effects tracks, well, actually most of them have they're stereo, and you could do them stereo or mono, so you could have one effect in the left and one effect in the right. And so, and we used to gang them up and get say the first 4 channels with effects and do a different one on each channel for each singer, like if you had 4 singers or whatever. And we used to do that sometimes. I didn't get to do it much because I usually did the low budget shows, but my friend's sound company, he had enough stuff to do that. And he would let me borrow his gear for the shows that I volunteered for. Sometimes I did a lot of volunteering. I didn't start get paid until almost later 90s, really. Once in a while I would get paid working for him, but anyway, you can do effect send and return on each channel, and you pick whatever effect you want on that channel, and then you can bring it up and down. Or you can put it on the main. There's also an aux send and return, an effects bus, or aux bus, or whatever you want to call it. And you could, like I was doing today, you could put that on that aux bus, and you could bring it up and down on whatever channel you want. So we would always do that. We'd always do that with our compressors a lot. It's like I said, it's cool to do that. It's good to do that. But when you're using compressors and stuff, it does make a difference. It makes it sound better usually, but it does not. If you use the effect send and return for a compressor and you're wanting to squelch that signal, stop it from over distorting and overdriving, then it won't achieve that. It will. You still have a wet and a dry signal, and all you can do is turn the wet signal, the effect signal, up and down. When you turn I've got earlier I was turning the effects up and down and turning them. When you turn the effects all the way down, it doesn't kill your signal. You have to turn your fader down to kill your signal. So the only way to have your compressor to control, like you can have a compressor on we used to do that a lot too, is have a compressor on. We did that more than we did effects. We would maybe have two to four effects units that we'd use just for compressor and noise gate and all that, to keep the vocals from overdriving and distorting, especially with those hardcore metal bands and grind. I mean, we did some. I didn't do sound for any grindcore bands like from the early '90s. I wasn't doing. I hadn't learned enough yet to do it then with the big shows like that. But later on in the later '90s, I did a lot of what they called hardcore bands, and they weren't what we used to call grindcore bands. They were different, but they would go a lot, very low tones. They weren't speed metal grindcore bands. They were a little slower, but very, very heavy. I actually liked them a lot. That was one of my favorite styles, was some of those Christian hardcore bands. I liked everything from soft music to heavy music. Still do, but I can't stand. My ears can't stand loud stuff now. But anyway, so if you can afford to buy enough effects units, you can put one on each vocal channel, and it's depending on your. Well, I suppose if back then we didn't really have these stereo channels like they do now. I suppose you could put a vocal on a stereo channel and use a stereo effects unit, and on the right, well, see, that would still, see, if you had a compressor on the right channel and effects on the left, you wouldn't be compressing everything, and you still wouldn't be cleaning up your signal the way you want to, so that wouldn't be very good. I was just thinking that something you might be able to do. You could, but it wouldn't be all that useful. But the most useful, what we always did was we would put our compressors and stuff, or just effects on our vocal channels, and then we would put a 2-channel compressor on the main output, daisy chain it in there, or those big boards would have a main insert to where you could just it was a, I can't unplug any of these cables right now. This is an insert cable that I've got on my main. It would be wired backwards from the way it is now. This right here would be the insert. It's a TRS 1/4 inch. It would go into the main insert, single plug, and then these two would go to the right and left side. These are just, they're not TRS, they're just TRS, tip ring sleeve, tip sleeve. They're TS. They're TS, or you could say mono. And they would plug into the back of the effects unit, and that would send your signal. Well, okay, that would be just, yeah, that would just be for, that wouldn't do stereo, that would do mono. It would be a send. One cable could do send and return. That's what I'm trying to say. This board won't do that. It's not wired that way. But, or would it? No, I don't think so. Well, maybe it would. Because the send is a, I'm not sure what the send would do. The way I have it, I have a TRS plugged in here for my send, and then I plugged it into the computer, into the stereo mic input. But that will automatically, if it's a mono, if it sent out a mono signal, it would just take it and work with it. But I didn't miss a channel. It sent me my, then the return, I used the stereo 3.5 millimeter out to a 2 RCAs, and then converted them to 1/4 inch to go into the board here, and I got stereo. So I got my both channels. So the only thing, like I was saying, when I was monitoring it, when I punched that in, I didn't hear. I would lose my stereo if I take that out. I've left that punched in for everything since I got this board set up. I just punched it out. But I haven't noticed, you know, I'm not missing a channel in my recordings. I would have noticed that right away. At least I don't think I am. I do sit over here by my right speakers. My left speakers are way over there, and I'm not in the middle of the room, you know. I can touch these speakers, and those are way across the room, so unless I have to get up to tell for sure. But I haven't ever noticed it. I guess I better start paying attention. I don't think it hurt my recordings. I think it just changed what I was getting out of the headphone output. Now I'm not going to use the headphone anymore. I'm going to use the control room output. But because it sounds better, it doesn't make noise like it did. If you turn it up very much at all, it would make noise on your headphones, and it was irritating. And I thought it was, my signal was bad for a while, and then I realized, no, that's not what's coming out of the main. That's just what's coming out of the headphones. That, and I had already had a clue because I saw guys, 1 or 2 videos saying that, telling about that before I bought the board. But anyway, lots of ways you can do this stuff. But if you've just got one effects unit or one compressor, this is basically an effects unit with a compressor. You know, it's a guitar effects with vocal effects too. And so, you know, I'm using 3 effects. I'm using noise gate, compressor. With this digital stuff, you know, it can all be mixed together like that. Noise gate, compressor, and tube amp emulator. Makes it sound a little nicer, I think. And it's on tube preamp custom clean. Well, actually, the white letters are one effect, and yeah, so I'm using tube preamp. There's another whole row of effects. So you can change your effects by doing that too. You can just sit there and turn those knobs. That gets confusing to me. I just use the presets, but I have played with them a lot, and I saved some that I liked that I made. But like this vocal effects and both of my vocal effects there. But yeah, you have to punch the buttons and do something to get it to the one underneath, the one in gray that says custom clean. Of course, that's for guitar, custom clean guitar amp. So I'm on the upper level. The defaults to the white letters, the upper level. And I know you can't see any of that, but anyway, when I was talking there, I thought of it. Oh, and let's see. Yeah, and over here, see, it's selected on compressor. There's a whole bunch of other things you can do. Chorus, auto wah, phaser. And if I was to switch that, it would change that. And then there's the amount of effects, you know, the volume of them. The reverb, there's reverb, and see, I don't have hardly any reverb turned on this one. This one, it's funny because it's a different kind of effect, but you hear lots of reverb, but it's turned way down. That's weird. And I know that has quite a bit of reverb. There's some internal settings that you change. See, it looks like you wouldn't have hardly any reverb, but well, that's the word on there is reverb, but it just says on the front of this compressor, reverb, and effects. You know, how the volume of the effects, and of course then you've got your main volumes, and master, and another volume there, and then you've got your EQs and gain. Let me get out of that. I know it sounds horrible to listen to talking, but that looks like it's got more reverb, but it's not actually reverb. It's I can't remember. I'd have to get the instructions out. But when you get into the menus, it shows it here in the screen what you're doing. So I built it up the way I wanted it. It's actually not reverb. It's actually trying to stop. It makes it sound more. Well, you can hear how the difference. And I can't remember. I knew. Whatever it was called, I was familiar with it. I'd seen it before, but I don't know. The book's put away, so I can't get it out or anything. But yeah, once you get it set up, leave it. If you got a really good memory, yeah, play with it all you want. But anyway, you can do a lot with that thing, and it cost, I think, about the same as one effects unit. That there's rack mount kind, maybe a little. I think it was cheaper than a rack mount effects unit. This is at least about I'm probably about 10 years old, I guess now. And at that time, if you were going to buy a rack mount unit, then yeah, I'm sure it was quite a bit cheaper, or else I would have just got a rack mount unit. But anyway, it's pretty cool. I've been saying the same things over and over. I'm starting to realize. So. Okay. Laptop keeps going to sleep. Oh yeah. I guess I'm just not happy till I sit here and do a video for over 2 hours. So it's 2 hours and 15 minutes now. I'm really kind of pretty disappointed that quit working and just, you know, couldn't get that app to work again. I was just beginning to have fun, just getting going there with it. And especially, I know that it opened up, and it would have worked just like it always did here on this machine before I started making the video. And I had to do something silly, like while it was really not even finished opening up good, closing it and hitting, and then clicking on the restart button on that message. That I know that broke it. It broke something. So, well, I think it did. How do I know? But I've seen things like that happen before. When you do stuff too fast, I don't care what operating system you got, you can cause trouble before the machine has a chance to do what it's trying to do. You know. Usually with Linux, though, even if something crashes 50 times, it'll still run again. And once in a while, you have to, you can uninstall it and reinstall it, and then it'll work again. But that one didn't. And I have seen with Linux systems, you can, if you, like I said, if you uninstall it, leave it uninstalled, and after usually it's several reboots, because I just don't fool with it again for a little while. Then try it again and it'll work. Sometimes it doesn't. So anyway, cool app, was evidently fairly buggy. I never did go to its website. That doesn't need to be open anymore. I kept thinking I might use it on to connect up to the laptop to show you need something, but Let's see. Rakarrack. What a crazy spelling. Edit? I didn't want to edit it. No, that's all I wanted. I wanted to get that name. Copy, cancel, close. Okay, because I want to look it up. I didn't get it. Oh, since I closed it, I lost it. Rakarrack. Did I get it right? Yep, I got it right. There's somebody's demo. I bet it's better than mine. There's a download on SourceForge. Okay, we already know what it is. Let's see. Bugs. That's what I want to know. Why is it crashing? It didn't say anything about crashing on there. Go to SourceForge. So I guess you got to go to their SourceForge page to find their bug stuff. Where is it? I saw it a minute ago. I guess I saw it in my search results. Yeah. Looks like you can change the colors of it and stuff. See anything about I don't see even the word bug on here. Okay, so oh, it's beta. I didn't know it was new. I wonder it's crashing. It's beta software. It's alpha, beta, and then first release, you know, and all that junk. I mean, it's way up there. And oh, I think that's an error on the page. That's not anything. I wasn't such a long error. I think that's not their blog didn't come in. That was supposed to be their blog. That's a 404 error. Wasn't paying attention. So there's some videos on it. I might watch that later. Of course, I've already made a video on it, but mine didn't. Ooh, wasn't so successful, was it? Rakarrack Behringer. Huh? It's not a Behringer. I don't know. Anyway, there's a couple down there too. Demo. I'll probably look those up later. That was in 2010. That's pretty old. It's 8 years ago. So it's still in beta and it's 8 years old. I wonder if that video would play. I'm wondering if the sound would. I can hear myself through the. Oh, I punched it out. No. Okay, so yeah, that's YouTube. The web browser sound does not come through my. I don't know why. I haven't really needed to do it much, but Ultra Rakarrack demo. I'm gonna look at those. Maybe they'll say something about it. Not now. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and do it during my video. But there you go. I want to punch that headphone out and leave it out because I'm wondering if I'm actually recording in mono when that's punched in. I don't think so, but so there you go. Now you can know more about it. Here, you know, you can see how to get to the page. Let's look up crash. Crash on startup. There's quite a few there, it looks like. Might be a way to fix it there. I just wasn't in the mood to go looking it up at the time when it started, when I was on there. That's 2011. Let's see if there's any on 2018. Yeah, looks like it maybe. So I guess they kind of set it up and then didn't keep working on it. Reconvert. Okay, they had a newer version and it crashed, and so then they found a file to execute. This may run in Windows too. I wasn't paying any attention. That might be. They said they executed Rakonvert C. Oh, they did a command. I'm not sure if that's a Windows command or a Linux command. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I was thinking of, maybe some of the settings or something. I mean, like I said, I didn't change any settings, but what it might have done is saved my, my last effect, the one that crashes it, and it being on. And so every time it opened up, it was crashing again. So yeah, there's probably a way to get it working again. But where's the downloads page? There it is. You gonna go there? I guess it's maybe that page is no good anymore. There it is. Okay. The same thing about Windows on there that I can tell. I'm searching the page for words. I think it only runs in Linux. So anyway, could be cool, but it's not. Still beta. So beta's not very stable on this one for sure. I mean, some beta software is much more stable than that. So there we go. Well, it was kind of fun. It didn't turn out to be as fun as I'd hoped because I thought I would just play through all the effects. I mean, I can still do that. It does work the way I'm right now. How did I get it to do that? How did it do that? Oh, I don't know. The microphone worked. That's plugged straight into the computer. I don't think the guitar would do it unless I rewired everything. Like I said, I can do it by plugging it into this computer the same way with effects, send and return. I just couldn't record it into OBS Studio. That's why I put it on the other computer so that I could. But you just used it as an effects processor. That's all I was using it for. So, and I could try it with the laptop. I could install it on there, see if it doesn't crash into Bane. If it will install into Bane, I don't know. I found it in the Fedora repo. Well, I think it just came with the. I think it just came when I installed the audio app groups, by group install. So that's enough rambling now. I'm tired. Okay, so there we go. I had no plans to do that today. Just one thing led to another, and I decided to do it. So anyway, I usually have a lot. I usually don't. I haven't run into an app that crashes like that. It crashes at all. I mean, once in a while an app will crash for some unknown reason, like say VLC. You get a video that's not formed well and it'll crash VLC, but it never breaks like that. Most of 99.9% of Linux apps on Linux systems, Fedora, Debian, whatever you're on. Well, Fedora and Debian. I won't say for the other distros because I don't use them all the time. They don't crash at all, really. So don't judge, Linux apps by that one there for sure. And it is a beta, so any beta software, they'll tell you it's liable to crash. Try it at your own risk. I just didn't pay any attention. I found it on my system. I didn't install it on purpose that I remember. I think it just came with all the when I was installing the Fedora audio groups. So that's a fun way to do it, Then you just get all this stuff. This one's, I showed all the stuff I got in that other system. Well, it's got just much and more in this one. I don't know if you can hear that. You probably hear that helicopter. It's so loud I can't hear myself talk. I got my window open to try to keep from being too hot in here, and it's still 79.5 degrees in here right now. It's 70 outside, but it's 79.5 in here with these computers running. Well, I've got my server, the Lenovo i5, and the Dell 1525 laptop running. I don't have the ASRock running anymore. I shut it down a while ago. Anyway, it's dawn. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. And I need to be working on building up that system, not playing with it. And other things I need to do. Now I got all this junk that I got to put away. You can't. If you could see all that junk, you'd be like, dang. Okay. Bye-bye.